I'm forward thinking and working actively in my business right now. I'm taking time for myself. I'm exercising. I'm just doing like all the things that we say we should always do. And my God, do I feel fucking vibrant and fantastic.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Medeiros.
And I'm Colleen Hungerford. And this is We're Doing This Right, right? A podcast for the whole woman, mind, body, soul, and business.
It's humor infused, as real as it gets, inspiring, and you'll walk away with real usable tools for life and business.
If you love what you're hearing, please share with a friend, subscribe so you'll never miss an episode, and rate and review whenever you listen.
So find your earbuds, lace up your walking shoes, or cozy up with a beverage of your choice. It's time to dig in. Oh, hey guys, we're doing this right? Welcome back to a very special edition of We're Doing This Right? And today it is Ask Us Anything.
I'm so excited about this. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's so fun. We took to the social media and asked our friends and families and followers what they wanted to ask us. So let's see if we can fill a full episode with questions and answers that you guys asked us.
Absolutely we can, because we can talk about anything. But I thought it was fun to, we were talking about like what we wanted to plan for this episode. And I thought because, it's July now and this will air in July and it's the middle of the year, it'd be fun to do just like a little fun mid-year episode. Ask us everything.
We're halfway there. We're halfway there, guys.
I've only briefly looked at these questions, but I've done zero prep, and you haven't really done any prep either on these. So this is gonna be great.
Yeah, girl.
I'm excited for it.
Just collected them. Before we start, Colleen, is there anything you want to ask me?
Oh, yeah. How are you so fabulous? That's the question I want to ask you.
I got it from my mama. And
no, I actually have a different question. I have a take that question. Okay. We've talked a little bit about this on the episode of a previous episode in passing, but what is your Taco Bell order?
Oh, okay. Well, currently, I don't really have a go-to currently because I'm so frustrated with their menu change. My go-to order for 20 years at least, if not more, maybe 30 years, was a double-decker taco with no lettuce, add mild sauce, and a steak gordita supreme with no sour cream.
Oh,
every time. That's what I got. I miss the steak gordita supreme so much. The way the steak would melt into the flatbread was so yummy. I'm so sad about it. And the double-decker taco was just like, I can never decide if I want a soft taco or a hard taco. Okay, actually, there's a meme floating around.
Do you remember the double-decker commercials with Shaq? Remember Shaq was like,
with his head gets stuck?
For the double-decker taco, which came out, I think, when I was in high school. The double-decker launched, I think, when I was in high school, and it was a big deal. And it is a solid choice, but it's gone though, right?
Yeah, it's not on the menu anymore, and I don't understand. They have everything they need to make it, and it's so frustrating to me. So Taco Bell, if you are listening, please bring me back my double-decker and my steak gordita. I know you still have the gordita bread. And some employees are like, oh, totally, we can totally do this. And some employees, first of all, are like, okay, well, that order hasn't been around in my entire life. And I'm like, okay, rude.
Rude.
And they're like, I don't know how to do that. For fuck's sake, you have everything in there. Just move. I'll do it.
Just move it. Okay, I'm going to tell you mine. So since it was launched, the Crunchwrap Supreme with no tomatoes is my go-to. And I believe the Crunchwrap was launched sometime when I was in graduate school. And I distinctly remember I had 2 guy roommates in grad school. And so after we would go to the bars or whatever, we would inevitably go through the Taco Bell drive-thru at 3 a.m. And always Crunchwrap Supreme, no tomatoes. If they gave me the tomatoes, it was absolutely ruined. And I was so mad. The other... you can't get them out. And then also, I do love their quesadilla, the cheese quesadilla. The sauce they put in the cheese quesadilla is legit. And it got rid of it but it was always with the Lipton raspberry iced tea, which they no longer have now. And they have some sort of annoying, overly sweet mango iced tea situation, which I am not happy about, but I
How rude.
drank it. Okay. So now that we've done the hard hitting questions, let's hit our list. And then we just got a late ad. So did you see that one that came up from
I
Stephanie?
did. I think we just start there because I think
Okay.
this is a good one. So when do you feel your very, very best? So this question is from Stephanie Olivero. She's a real estate agent in New York City and Westchester County. So when do you feel your very, very best? Describe it in detail what this feels like, the circumstances, and what it entails or has entailed in the past to be in your optimal state. Oh, Stephanie, hard hitting.
Oh,
How? When?
okay.
I am
You
feeling really good this week, and I will tell you why.
okay.
I had a really fucked up weekend. I think I
Okay.
told you about my literally shitty weekend.
Oh, shit
Uh,
weekend. The dog
my
shit
literally
weekend.
shitty weekend. Dog shitty weekend. So you guys, we're gonna go down. We're gonna go low before we go high. We had a situation where one of my sweet, sweet great Pyrenees broke into the shop, ate all of the wet cat food that was in containers. Like she broke into a box, broke into the containers, ate all of the wet cat food from Costco. So not a little bit, it was a lot. Then she was in the crate because we have this situation where the dogs have to be crated. And she had diarrhea. And then she spilled
Dude.
her water all over the crate. And I, first of all, Alex should not have been the one to be switching the dogs. It should have been done before I arrived home, but it ended up being my job. When I walked in to switch her, she stood up and she shook.
No,
And
you
she
forgot
had
the
been in a
part
wet.
about the water. She spilled her water,
Oh,
right?
she spilled a jug of water all over the bottom of the crate that was in her crate with her, and she had had diarrhea in there. So now I have shitty water being shaken off her body onto me, and it gets everywhere, head to toe, in my ear, on my face, on my clothes, on my
Oh,
shoes.
ew,
I mean,
ew.
head to
In your
toe
ear. And it was like
in my ear.
11:45 at night, right? Like, wasn't it super
Yes.
late at night?
It's very late at night. I had just come home from Bunko. Shout out to the Bunko babes. And it was dark. We have no lights in our shop. For some reason, somehow we bought a shop that we didn't realize didn't have electricity run to it. So it's this whole I like didn't even know what to do. And I'm a crier, but not in generally these situations. I'm kind of a problem solver. So, anyways, I cried. I lost it. I was not well. And I
Yeah.
come in and Alex is fast asleep. And I
Oh,
stopped that immediately and
oh,
was
that's
like,
the worst.
I
How dare you
am
be asleep?
covered in dog shit, dog diarrhea, not dog shit, dog
Yeah.
diarrhea right
No.
now.
Well,
And this is all your fault. He didn't latch the door to the shop the night before. He didn't
all your
change
fault.
the dogs for me before I got home. There's so many things that were his fault. So, needless to say, that was Thursday. It sparked a terrible weekend for me. I could not get out of my funk to save my life. And I was just unwell for the entire weekend.
And Alex
Unwell,
was
not my best self. And
the
Alex
worst.
could not do a thing right to save
Yeah.
his life. He was the target of all of it. We had a date one day and I'm like, "Are you sure? Are you sure we should go on this date? I
Yeah.
do not like you." Okay. So I was like, I've got to turn this shit around because I can't.
Literally.
I am unpleasant. It is unpleasant to be in this body right now because
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
so hateful. And so on Monday, I said, okay, I'm going to exercise today. So on Monday, I got up. I have been intentionally getting up before the kids. That's one of the things. So intentional time by myself. I exercised by myself. I
Great
took myself
job.
to the pool.
With that.
I exercise. I love swimming. I love it. And I don't need to do a lot. 20 minutes is great. Like I'm
Yeah.
outside, so I'm getting the sunlight. I'm in the water. I'm a water sign for you astrological
Oh,
people. It feels good on my body. It's a low impact exercise that is also high reward. It's like it's hard. It's
yeah.
cardiovascular, it's
I mean,
strength
it's
training,
fucking
it's all the
hard.
things. Yeah. So it's great. And then I sit out in the sunshine afterwards and dry off and just have quiet time to myself. My business has been thriving this week. I'm getting
Of
like
course.
feedback and people are thinking of me for real estate, which is like great. My
Yes, love
newsletters are
that.
getting responses. I'm getting referrals. It's like, it just kind of feels like I'm firing on all cylinders. I went and took myself and got a pedicure. I mean, I worked during the
Yes,
entire thing, but
queen.
I love my job. So it's fun. It's like fine to sit there and work and I'm doing creative things that are exciting to me. It's projects. I'm putting myself out there in my office with other agents, like working on building a long term business with hopefully getting some golden handoffs of businesses down the road. You know, I'm forward thinking and working actively in my business right now. I'm taking time for myself. I'm exercising. I'm just doing like all the things that we say we should always do. And my God, do I feel fucking vibrant
It
and
worked.
fantastic?
Yeah. And you know what's so interesting is like that feeling, when I read Stephanie's thing come up, it's so funny. Sometimes like you had this like low, so then the highs feel higher and you can appreciate them. It's kind of like, when you're sick and then you start to feel good again and you're like, hell yes. Like I am
Yeah.
doing it. Like it's kind of like that. Okay, so when she sent this, my first initial idea was like, what first came to my mind is like, what is my ideal day? Like, what would that be? Like, that's when I feel my best. And I think it's very similar. Like, I want to be able to get up. I want to be able to have my coffee. I want to go for a walk. So I did that today. I went for my walk this morning and I had my coffee. And I don't know, July is starting out really fab. Like, I've had a fab day today so far. Like, got my client's offer accepted on this big kind of like deal that I was working on that had like multiple moving parts. So I think for me, I feel my best like when I'm achieving the goals that I want to achieve, when I am in control of my time. Like that is huge for me. Like I wanted to go for my walk this morning, so I did. I had a meeting, I got there. I did, like when those things are like going and I'm achieving the goals that I want to achieve and I don't know, that's when I feel my best, to be honest, like, because 'cause I'm such a goal-oriented I'm a Capricorn, and I am an Enneagram 3, and I am just, like, an achiever. So, like, when I'm able to achieve my goals, whether they're, like, physically, mentally, work-wise, kids-wise, like, whatever, that's when I feel my best, when those things are, like,
I feel
working.
like I'm hearing you say when you show up for yourself in the way you told yourself you would
Yeah.
is when
Yeah.
you feel your best.
Also, I have been like really, we talked about this. I've been really working on my health and my fitness, and I tried some clothes on that weren't feeling great, and that now like make me feel much better. So that was really cool. So just because I was feeling more confident in who I was and my body, like and feeling happy with that. So yeah, like when I am achieving the things that I want to achieve, when I'm in control of my time, when I feel like, like I don't mean control in like a bad way, but like, when I've got things under control so that I'm not feeling rushed or I'm not feeling stressed or that's when I feel my best. So, and also like,
Yeah.
I would love to like, also like go on a patio and drink an Aperol spritz today, but it's going to rain here. So it's not happening.
Oh,
But
we're not getting rain here. We're getting like 110 this week. So the other thing I'm noticing too, the other big shift I made in my world that's making me feel better is I'm noticing over summer, I feel guilt for working
mm,
because
yep.
my kids are like, "Mom, are you going to spend a day with us? Mom, are you going to hang out with us?" So then I'm like really stretching myself. I have been really stretching myself thin to spend time with them and
Yeah.
do the things with them, which I want to do, but
Right.
I need to be in control of when and how I do it, and it can't just be like every day I have this little bit of guilt pulling me to do it.
Yeah.
So just making meaningful time to spend with them. So I am I have made that shift where the time like Monday instead of going to August swim practice, which I want to be at every swim practice. I want to be at every practice. I want to be at every game. That's the type of mom that I am. That's the type of mom that I had. But I had piles and piles of laundry on my bed. that have been like looming over me, like just getting pushed to the side every night. Actually, no, you guys, it's a lie. Alex and I just started sleeping in a different bedroom rather than dealing with this laundry. So,
I get it.
follow me for
I
more life hacks. But there's more reasons than that why we started sleeping in a different room. But anyways, I was like, I just have to get this laundry put away. I want those sheets changed. Like there's these things that I want to do. And if I skip swim practice, I can be at home by myself. I can do this. And I turned on Bridgerton and put away all of our laundry and changed our sheets and
love it.
had like and invited my husband home early, like told him to leave work early and get home before the kids for a little quick mommy daddy time before the children got home, and like just did life for us and for me. And you know what? Sometimes we just got to do that. Gosh damn it. And we should do that for ourselves all the time.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
I think, yes, all of it. I don't have anything else to add. Do the things for yourself.
Stephanie, thank you for that question, for helping us reflect and realize when we feel our best so that we can try to remember that and do it more. So, thank you.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
What's the next one? What do
We
you
have
got?
a question from Sierra from San Luis Obispo. She says, "What is one thing you've done for yourself this year that you are really proud of?"
Okay, I have really started to be very intentional, but also the phrase I was thinking of was intentionally selfish, and we've talked a lot about that. Like, you know, making sure that I'm taking care of myself first, and that has allowed me to really show up better for everybody, and it's also made me like, so a lot of this has to do with the physical because I was showing up in a lot of ways for people, but my physical body was not feeling good. I was feeling really tired, and that made me feel really stressed out, and I wasn't sleeping well, and I wasn't eating well. And I just felt like this overall, like, unshakable exhaustion, which just then didn't make me a good person. Like, it just didn't make me a good person. So when I really started being more intentional about being healthy and healing my body and being strong, like, I realized that has made such a big difference in how I show up in so many different ways. That has been probably the best thing that I've done this year.
Good job. I am really proud that I honored the commitment I made to myself to go to Michigan and see my family member,
Yes.
even when life really happened here, and it would have been very easy to cancel that trip. And
Yeah.
probably a lot of people would have to stay and go to that funeral, but I prioritized the life that's still here over the life
Yeah.
that is gone. And I'm proud of myself, and it was really, really what I needed in that moment. And I'm proud of me, and I'm grateful to my husband for encouraging that. So,
I love that.
okay. What is the best deal you've taken part in? So probably this is
You
gonna be
go
a real estate
first.
deal, but it wouldn't have to be. It could be any kind of deal. Okay, so I'm so excited about this one because I have a really amazing deal that we took part in. This was one of my first deals in real estate, and I feel like it's a deal that I really got to shine in because I'm persistent and I'm squeaky and I'm noisy and I'm a problem solver. And
Yeah.
like all those things got to shine. But we had a active military person. Well, it wasn't that was not my client, but I knew that person very well. They had an au pair. And my client was a veteran. And there is something that our veterans, our VA loans have, which is called an assumable loan. Any government loans are assumable. So, like FHA loans are
Yes.
assumable, VA loans, those are all assumable. So, what that means is the buyer of a house could assume, like, take on the loan that the seller has. So,
Right.
in a military situation, a VA situation, there's also an entitlement. It's called an entitlement that goes along with that loan. So the VA gives a certain entitlement or amount of money that they're allowed to lend from VA at any given time. So with that assumable loan, that's a VA, there's an entitlement involved and there's the interest rate involved. So because it was active military selling to a veteran. This active military was able to pass their loan and the entitlement over to the buyer, which was the difference of like a 7% interest rate to like a 2.75% interest
Oh my
rate on
God.
$1 million
Yes.
property. Now,
Amazing.
we had to, this was not offered to our buyers. We had to ask. It was
Yes.
declined. It was
No.
declined by the agent. The
Why?
agent didn't even want to pursue
Jerks.
it on behalf of the sellers. But
Listen,
I
choose the
was
right agent.
persistent and well, yes, they regret their decision to have worked with who they worked with, but I was able to use my relationship with the seller to pursue the assumption behind the scenes and get it accepted and then work like tirelessly with a very difficult lending company to get the assumption through. And I mean, there was hurdle after hurdle after hurdle on this deal, but we got it done and it changed these people's lives. Like
Oh my
it
God. Oh my
absolutely changed
God.
these people's lives. And they are eternally grateful for the work that we put into it. They recognized how hard we worked on it. They are so grateful. They are dear friends for life. They didn't end up getting to move in like on the scheduled plan because life happens, but also
Yeah.
thankfully I have a shipping container apartment on my property and I was like, "No problem. You get to move in here for a
Oh my
week and a half
gosh.
while you
Oh my
wait." Like,
gosh.
you know,
What service?
I know. I know. 10 stars. So, I mean, we
And
just were able to
stars.
like change these people's lives and just make everything as easy as possible for them in a very difficult
Yeah.
and complex situation.
Yeah.
And it was so freaking rewarding and such a confirmation that I was in the right place.
I
And
love
it was my
that.
favorite.
I I love that, and I love what we do. I know, like, a lot of people don't understand exactly what realtors do, and, like, in any field, there's, like, good ones and bad ones, you know? Just
Yeah.
like there's good doctors and bad doctors or whatever, or there's good lawyers and bad lawyers, or there's good customer service people and bad ones. But, like, one of the things that really differentiates, like, really good agents and agents that really care is when they're able to really understand their client and do these different things, right? It's not just it's not you just searching Zillow and like finding, or them sending you a house they found on Zillow. Like just the extra care and the extra intelligence and the extra thinking, thinking outside of the box, thinking of ways to help your client to achieve their goals. Like that's my favorite part about this job. I guess if I don't know what my favorite deal is, but the one that I'm doing right now, what I love about it is like I met these clients at an open house, instantly connected with them. Like the woman gave me a hug on the way out of the open house, right? Like, I love to hug people, but she wanted to hug me. So, and just kind of create a relationship with them and kind of understood what they wanted and understood what they needed. And they had an agent. Like and I was just pursuing, I didn't know they had an agent. I didn't find out till later, but I was just pursuing them as a relationship also. Right. And, so I was able to find them something that wasn't on the market that I knew was coming up. And then a couple of these, and I took them to a couple houses that, and their agent wouldn't have been able to find them for. They, ended their relationship with the other agent respectfully. And then we got them pre-approved, but then their pre-approval was like, well, you have to sell your house before you can buy this house. So then we had to be like, oh, okay. Well, now we have to try to find a buyer for their house, which they don't really want to list. So like I went out and like found a buyer and found an agent who had a buyer for their house. And these are things that I think people don't know that we do, right? Like because of our network, and we talk about networking all the time, like that's so important to us. But because of my network and the relationships that I created with here, I was able to reach out to many agents and people and just say, like, hey, does anybody have somebody who might be interested? And, I know there's a lot of things about like cooperation and okay, putting it on the MLS, but not everybody wants to sell that way. And not everybody can do that. So anyway, I was able to put some stuff together for them and all the pieces just kind of fell in place. And it just makes me so happy. Like they wanted something, they had this dream. I was able to help them like achieve that dream and then work through those, everything that came up, we were able to just like handle it and like be like, okay, you want this house? Great. Like, okay, I can get you this house. But oh, now we have to sell your house. Okay, we'll sell your house. And like it just is all kind of lining up and it doesn't always work that way. And there will be bumps and things like that. But it just is nice when you are able to kind of like create solutions for people. I love that.
Yeah, it's so rewarding.
Yeah.
It's so rewarding. I had lunch with one of my clients recently and, you know, I told him, I was like, obviously the paycheck's great and I need it. I had to take it to the bank. I've got bills to pay. It's gonna be
Right.
110 here this weekend. I'm gonna have a 1,500 PG&E bill,
Oh my
but it's the
God.
feeling of like having helped you achieve what you did. And it's the relationship that I have with you now. And it's
Yeah.
this, like, if I could do this 3 times a week
Yeah.
with different clients every week, I would be so fulfilled and so happy. Like that is what I'm
Yeah.
striving for.
Yeah.
Way more than the money.
Yeah.
I mean, I want the money too, but
I want the
it's
money
this
too.
feeling that I'm chasing
Yeah.
that is the catalyst. Okay.
Yeah. So it's
Well, while we're on real estate,
yeah.
I have the next question is from Patty from Santa Margarita. She wants to know, how long have you been interested in real estate?
Mm. My husband and I had talked about me getting my license probably since 2017, 2018. We talked a lot about it when we had our construction business because it made sense for us to be able to like when we're doing if we wanted to do flips or wanted to do our own flips or whatever. But I didn't get my license until February of 22. So I'm still two plus years in, but it's been something that has been interesting for me. I remember being really little. My parents didn't own, never owned, my dad has never owned a home. My mom bought one like 3 years ago. And I remember when I was little, what I observed was that the people who were really wealthy around me all owned property. Like I recognized that really, really early on. And that was always something that was very, very important to me. So I guess I would say I was interested in real estate since I was little, but I think it really became an idea or a career idea for me, when I was in a transition and it seemed like a really viable option for me and something that I knew that I could be good at. So, it aligned with the things that I like to do, which is help people and help solve problems and, manage multiple things at one time and make people happy. So that's how it was for me.
I bought my first condo in April of 2012. So I was 26 years old.
That's amazing.
And thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you to
That's
the
like a
woman
big
that told
deal.
me she
I
refused to
remember you
rent to me
telling
because
that
she said I
story.
needed to buy a house.
Yeah, I remember you telling me
And yeah, so thank you to her for sending me on this trajectory. But when I bought that condo at 26-year-old, never having been in a transaction before in my life, I micromanaged my agent and I micromanaged my lender because they
that.
both sucked.
They sucked.
And I it was like crazy. I'd be like, aren't we supposed to be releasing our contingencies? Like, shouldn't we be having a conversation about this? And it was at that point that I was like, "Oh, this is something I'm interested in. I'm very interested in this." And then that condo I did very well on. Like I it appreciated a lot, and I sold it
Yeah.
2 years to the day for a
Oh,
capital
wow.
gains reason.
Yes.
And the next place we bought, I feel like I was very much deserved by my lender and my realtor in the next, like when my husband and I first started looking for our next place, frustrated by how that transaction went. Oh, my first lender fucked me, and my first agent really fucked me by forgetting to tell me anything about closing costs. Like, didn't
Oh
educate me
my
at all on the
god.
process. Got to the closing table and they're like, "Okay, we need your check for closing costs," and I'm like,
What are
"We've
you
wiped
talking
out that
about?
account." Like, you have all the money. I just gave you everything I have for the down payment. So just like stuff like that, I felt like, God, this could be done so much better than how it's being done. And I really caught the bug. And then we bought our second house. And again, it was like, why am I doing your job for you? I could be doing this so much better than what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then and I was so obsessed with the market from the time I bought the condo on. Like, I just became obsessed with watching the market and seeing what it was doing. And I could see the value in like the wealth building that could come from owning real estate and buying and selling and investing. And I always house hacked. That's the hot term. I bought
Yeah.
the condo and immediately moved a roommate in to pay more than half of my mortgage. And then when Alex
So
and I bought together, we still kept roommates. And then we built on and added an Airbnb and house hacked in that way. And then when we bought this property, we have 2 rentals on it right now, and I have ambitions of adding more. And, I kind of lately am using the phrase, like, I go out of my way to not pay my mortgage. Like, I can't wait to skip a mortgage
yeah.
payment.
Yeah.
I
That's
love
amazing.
when other people pay my mortgage, essentially is is my goal. All those things made me really just interested in real estate. And I had a career since 2010 that had golden handcuffs. And what that means is
Mhm.
I had a pension. I
Yeah.
had a matched 401k. I had excellent health insurance benefits. I had a 6-figure salary right out of college. I
Yeah.
had not salary, excuse me. I was commission only, but it was 6 figures to
Yeah.
start, and like maintained that. And that was really hard to walk away from, especially because I built a life that and I caution people on this, but I built a life that relied on that 6-figure income.
Yeah.
And it became very hard to walk away from. So I was tethered to this career that I really wasn't that passionate about. And I really, really, really wanted to do real estate, but it was scary, especially when I got diagnosed with kidney disease, because now I really needed health insurance. And I
Right.
understood how that health insurance plan worked. And I was comfortable over there. And it was scary to consider moving. So, and while I am much more willing to jump than my husband was a lot less willing to let me jump. He liked the tether. So, anyhow, I stayed there for a long time, longer than I would have liked to have stayed, until I hit a breaking point, and then I jumped. And yep, I don't regret it for a second. I don't think my husband regrets it for a second either.
Yeah.
Certainly, there have been some growing pains. That $2,000 a month we now pay for health insurance is really painful.
Yeah.
But like, sometimes when we're like, "Where did all our money go?" I'm like, "Oh, there it is over
There it
there."
is.
Thank God we have people paying our mortgage, because we're paying $2,000 for health insurance. But
Dude, that is
is what
so
it
much.
is
That's
what
so
it
much.
is.
You know what? I think it's when you're married or when you have a partner, it's very interesting when you're ready to take a leap, they might not be, right? And how you have to work through that and how, like, I don't want to say, but kind of sometimes, like, how limiting that feels, right? Like, if I was just by myself, and I can be like, bye. But it is also like such a great, like, I love being in a partnership. It across the board. Like, I love the partnership that I have with you. I love the partnership that I have with David. I love, like, having these types of partnerships and relationships where you have somebody who is either balancing you out or is pushing you or who is doing. I just remember, like, and this relates to real estate, in that, like, when we moved here, I really pushed David to move. We were ready to do something different. And he was, like, kind of reluctant, but he's a very nice husband. And he was just like, "Okay," not really, but, he was willing to trust me on this. And I kind of am that person who is kind of leading the change all the time. But I remember very distinctly, like, when we had been here for about 6 months and I had my design business and I was doing a little bit, but we needed more money. And to be able to have somebody, to have a partner, we were standing in an entryway and I was like, I feel like I'm having a midlife crisis. I don't know what I should do. I don't know if I should go back and get a corporate job. I've never even had a corporate job, really. Like, I worked in education and athletics and, like, those aren't corporate, structured, but not corporate. I was just kind of like, what should I do? And my sweet husband was like, well, I don't really want to tell you what to do. I want you to, like, you should, I don't want to tell you what to do. But when you're with somebody for so long, David and I will be married 14 years this month, and we've been together almost 20 years, right? But I've known him since I was 14. And I was like, no, literally, I can't think anymore. I need you to tell me what to do. Like, I can't make a decision. And he was just like, I think that you'd be really great at real estate. And I remember being like, great, that's what I'm going to do then. Like I was just like, I don't know, man. Like, great. You told me to do real estate, so I'm going to do it. But because we have that great partnership, he knew that this was something that I was going to be great at. Like he knew it and he believed in me. And I think that was really a time in my life or a point in our life where where he was pushing me or guiding me versus me always pushing him. But I think it was just like, people ask me like, "Oh, did you fall in love with real estate?" And I had interest in real estate and I did have this interest in like always wanting to own a home and owning property. But like, I think there's a lesson there for people who need change or want change, but don't know what to do. Like you can fall in love with something that you're not already in love with when you start, and
Mhm.
just to like trust the process or learn to love it. Like I love what I do now. Like I do, like you see all those quotes that's like, if you wake up every day and you're excited about what you're doing, then you're doing it right or whatever. Like, do I jump out of bed every
You'll
day and
never
be
work
like,
a day in your life. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I know, like there are really hard days. I've had some of my hardest days in the last 2.5 years, but also some of the best. And like the freedom that we have and the control that we have in some respects, sometimes not. But anyway, it's just really good. So I'm thankful for that.
Okay. Where's your favorite vacation destination?
Oh, I saw this and I don't know. I think my favorite vacation destination is the place that I haven't been yet, and that is Greece. And I swear to God, it was on my vision board last year and this year. And I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know when it's going to happen, but if I don't go to Greece, I'm going to freak the fuck out. It's like a calling. I don't know. That's my dream destination. That's where I want to go. I mean, I've traveled to a lot of lovely places. David and I went on our honeymoon in Cape Town, and that was incredible. I would go back there in a second. I've been to Paris. Paris is amazing. Australia was amazing. I don't know. Like, there's also something really lovely that we now for fall break, we usually go up to Michigan. And I love that. Like, it's so simple, but like, it's just a nice time that we spend together, and, like, I think part of that vacation is not necessarily just the destination, although we do love Michigan, like, it's beautiful, but also just, like, that is a vacation that we take where we're just together as a family. There's no holiday, there's no other family involved, there's nothing. It's literally us just being somewhere together as a family and, like, having fun together. That's my favorite.
Okay. Well, we're super synced because I was going to say my favorite vacation destination is Michigan. And
Ah,
I'm going to be unique in this because we have family. We have a river house. I mean, my Aunt Nini has a river house. Thanks, Aunt Nini.
yeah,
And so, what's so funny is for years, I was almost resentful for a little while in my like mid 20s and 30s. Like, God, we only ever vacation in Michigan because
yeah,
that's where my family is. Like, I'm missing all these other places that we should and could be going because I'm just always going to visit family. And I was resentful. And then here I am. And I'm like, actually, it's my favorite because I go and we don't do anything. Like,
yeah,
I mean, we go to restaurants, we go out, we have time, but we see family and we lay around and we're at the river and we can float in the river and we can go swimming, we can go kayaking. I mean, there's all these things to do that are fun and it's easy. And like, I have so many nostalgic childhood memories, and now when we take the kids get to make all those nostalgic childhood memories, and the town that we go in that I feel like I grew up in, which I didn't grow up there, but I grew up going there every year, 1 or 2 times a year, my whole life. Like, now
yeah.
my kids get to go and make those kinds of memories with their cousins. And
Oh, I love
just
it.
how fun is that? So, and I got engaged there and,
Oh my God, I love it.
so and, like, some of my favorite people are there, and it just feels like home. My parents will not live in their house forever. Yeah, it feels like home in Michigan. So, it's my favorite vacation destination.
That's a wrap on part 1 of Ask Us Anything. We will see you back here next week for part 2. Have a great week.